where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Desde Brooklyn hasta el sol del Medio Oriente, José Flores con fuego en la mente. Raised in the Bronx where dreams don't sleep, donde el hambre te enseña a resistir. Section 8 life, no handouts, no cheat. He built his power from the pain on the street.
Cada golpe, cada lágrima caída fue el fuego que encendió su vida. Ahora camina con propósito y voz. José Flores, hear the noise. De la calle al combate, turn his trials into faith. Con disciplina y con fe, now he rises every day. From the black to the world sin temor.
You ever need a haircut?
So that these kids can learn how to play
or want to, not just learn, but want to. But I think that there's a major shift.
Iraq to Korea, he led from the front. Now he lifts others, never just stunts. Hoy es mentor, líder, amigo.
Mi gente, welcome to the Motivated Mindset with me, your host, Jose Antonio Flores. If you don't know, you better ask somebody up in here. Yay. Look, I am your host, here to make it happen, Captain. I'm a proud Latino born in New York City, straight out of the Bronx, raised in Brooklyn. That New York flavor, that hustle, that grit. Look at here. It shaped me to who I am, built me today, and everything I do. In this chapter of my life, I wear a few different hats, other than this cool one I'm wearing right now. I'm a motivational speaker, certified personal trainer, certified end-of-life death doula. But behind every title is one mission, una misión, to serve people, because I know what struggle feels like. I know what pain feels like. And I know what it means, como se dice, to fight your way toward a purpose. Every day, my mission is simple, to inspire, to uplift, to challenge, to remind people that no matter where you come from, no matter what life throws at you, you can redefine your life through faith, discipline, resilience, and relentless drive. That's why this podcast exists. The Motivated Mindset is where we talk about resilience, we talk about culture, we talk about healing, we talk about leadership, discipline, optimism, and the courage it takes to keep moving adelante, forward, when life hits you hard. We keep it real here, people. New York City real, straight talk, because you know why? I'm a combat veteran who probably served 30 years in the United States Army. Before we get rolling, I want to send a powerful salute to all my veterans, service members, and first responders. Mucho respeto, much respect. And while we're talking about service, I want to acknowledge another group that has a profound impact on my life. Women. Having been raised by strong Latino women and having served alongside women throughout my 30-year service in the Army career, I've had the privilege of witnessing firsthand just how powerful and capable and inspiring women truly are. I've seen women lead soldiers through some of the most challenging, como se dice, environments, right? Imaginable. I've watched them command units, manage complex missions, mentor future leaders, and excel under pressure. Some of the most competent, resilient, and outstanding leaders I've ever served with were women. Their strength wasn't measured solely by rank or by position. It was measured by the character, by courage, by wisdom, and by their ability to bring people together and accomplish the mission. That's why women empowerment is something I deeply believe in. In fact, if you look around my life today, and most of my tribe consists of incredible women, leaders, entrepreneurs, coaches, professionals, mothers, veterans, and friends who continue to inspire me todo el día with their resilience, determination, and heart. You know, I've learned that empowering women isn't about giving them it's about giving them a voice, como dice. They've always had one, but it's about making sure that voice is heard, respected, and celebrated, you know. Now, one last thing before we start. If you vibe with what you hear, right? If this conversation inspires you, if you appreciate the interviews, the energy, yay, what's up? You know what I'm saying? All I ask, support the social media, you know. Go on there, take a picture, support my YouTube channel, support the social media, because that's how we're able to bring you episode with awesome content, awesome guests, you know, and you might be able to share this with somebody who needs a little bit, yay, motivation up in here. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let's do this, because it's all about purpose driven, making sure that we get those people. So let's get into it today, right? The guest is someone whose missions aligns perfectly with what we talk about here on the Motivational Mindset. Kara Vaval is a Florida attorney, entrepreneur, keynote speaker, coach, best-selling author, and a visionary behind Vaval Law and the InPowerment Institute. Many people know her as the laptop lifestyle lawyer, but her impact extends far beyond the courtroom. She has dedicated her life to helping women recognize their worth, reclaim their power, and create lives fulfilled with purpose, possibilities, and fulfillment. She is the best-selling author of From Clearance to Priceless, a powerful guide that challenges women to stop settling and reclaim their self-worth and rewrite their story. She also is the author of 28,000 Days, Make Yours Count, a reminder that life is precious and it's too short not to live with intention, purpose, and urgency. As the host of the Unfiltered with Kara podcast and the Laptop Lifestyle Lawyer podcast, Kara continues to inspire and equip women around the world, el mundo entero, with practical tools, strategies, and encouragement to build successful, authentic, and joyful lives. Today, we're going to have a real conversation about, como se dice, self-worth, resilience, success, personal growth, and what it truly means to stop settling for less than you deserve. We'll dive into Kara's journey, her mission, and how each of us can step into our value, own our story, and reach our fullest potential. So please help me welcome our guest. Give me a moment. Here we go.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Kara, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Let me tell you something. Your intro is like, I was just waiting. I was loving it, and I love the little jumping back and forth with Spanish and coming back and what you stand for. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. You know, in New York, we talk a lot of Spanglish. You know, that's how we talk. You know, it's like, I was walking, it just happened, man. It just happened. But no, we're just excited that you are here, and it's gonna be stupendous. That's how I'm gonna put it. Yes. But before you became a lawyer, before you became all these great things, ¿Quién es Kara? Who are you? Where you from?
Okay, well, the funny thing is, because you keep talking about New York like New York is your thing. I'm from New York too. I don't know if you knew that. So I was actually born in New York.
Okay.
But my parents relocated back to Haiti when I was 6 months old. So I grew up in Haiti. So I'm Caribbean, and I grew up there. Very, charmed life, charmed childhood. And unfortunately, when I was 14 years old, my father was actually murdered back home. And so life took a very steep, dark turn early. And so when you talk about resilience, when you talk about, having to overcome challenges and things like that, and it met me early, right? Early, I was 14. He was only 42 when that happened as well. And so there was something that got stirred in me, though, that I wasn't going to let that take me out the game. It was too early, right? So, you get things happen in life where you're at a fork, and you have to decide, am I going to let this knock me down, or am I going to, just truck along? And so truck along I did. I moved to New York a few years after that. So I was about 16 years old. And that's where I did my last year of high school, went to college in New York on Long Island, and fast forward, decided to go to law school. I really wanted to, because I had talk about stupendous. I had a stupendous father, right? So I really wanted to make the guy proud and really show the world that even though he was only in my life for the 14 years, that he was around, that I had gained enough of a foundational, solid foundation that I could go ahead and make something great of myself. So I decided to go to law school. So I came down to South Florida to do that. And lo and behold, I graduated law school, sat for the Florida bar, and when I was waiting for the Florida bar results, I was I found out that I had passed a different test, and it was a pregnancy test.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
so I was like, okay, God, that was not what I was thinking I was gonna do, because I was wanting to make partner in a firm. You know, you have these ideas of how life is supposed to play out, and then plot twist, right? And so when I had my son, one thing was for sure, and two things were for certain. I wanted to be a mom, and I wanted to be a present mom. So I had to figure out a way to make money. Even though I did end up passing the bar, and I had this job with this attorney, but he did not. He was not about that flexibility and all of that. And early on, I knew that I wanted to have the flexibility to be present with my son. And so after my maternity leave, it was about that time for me to go back to work. Didn't want to do that. And I prayed real hard, because I do have a very close personal relationship with the man upstairs. So I said, sir, I'm going to need you. You sent this baby. I'm going to need you to do, you know, you got to figure this out. Right. And so, so how he figured it out was, I was walking out of Target, and a woman offers me a facial with Mary Kay Cosmetics. And if you've never heard of Mary Kay, it's a multi-level marketing direct sales company. And I did the facial with her. And I will tell you that by the end of our time together, I became a Mary Kay consultant as a licensed attorney for $100. I bought my starter kit, which was how I always say, you know, I bought my freedom for $100, because I built that business, made my first 6 figures with that business. And that little, because everybody was like, oh, that little beauty business funded my law firm that is now 17 years old. And so that's kind of, you know, how I got to those were my beginnings, you know. It was very unconventional. It was not linear at all. And one of the things that I really am big on when I speak to women is, you know, stop wanting your life to be different than what it is. You know, we all get a hand of cards, you know, when it's like going to a blackjack table, right? You get a hand and you got to play the heck out of that hand. That's what you have to do. And you can't resist the hand. You can't wish the hand to be different. You know, this is your hand. And so that's what I did. My hand was very unconventional. It was not what I had, you know, if I had to think up of a hand to get, I would not have my dad leave the picture at just 14 years old, you know. But that was my hand, and I played it. And lo and behold, what I came to realize is, even when I was practicing law, my days in Mary Kay stirred up something in me that I didn't even know I had, which was I had a gift to motivate women. And I was thirsting for that when I was practicing. I would serve my clients and do my thing, but there was something about empowering women that I just, it did it for me. And then I couldn't do it when I was doing law. And so so what happened was, at some point, I had been practicing, I think it was about 10 years at that point, and I was very successful running a virtual law firm. I had never had an office when I started. I mapped my law business was mapped after the direct sales model of Mary Kay. It was virtual from day one, and way before COVID made virtual sexy. I was doing that. I was on Zoom way before y'all knew about Zoom. Okay. I had a virtual assistant way before virtual assistants were a thing. Right. And so I wanted to teach women how to do what I was doing, because I saw that I was successful. I was able to balance being a mom and being and having a career. And a lot of my friends who went to law school with me couldn't do that, because they had these jobs that required them to be billing all types of hours in order to earn their living. And some of them had toothbrushes in their drawers, in their desk drawers. That's how demanding on their time their practice or the jobs that they were at, their legal jobs were. And so I decided to start teaching women how to start virtual law firms and scale them. That's where the Laptop Lifestyle Lawyer brand was birthed. So it was about teaching other women lawyers how to start their firms, how to scale so that they could have the time and money freedom that they actually went to school for. It's like law school will teach you how to go work for somebody, but it doesn't teach you how to convert your own law degree into cash for yourself. And so I was doing that, and I still am considered the Laptop Lifestyle Lawyer. But then, of course, life, when life be lifing, it teaches you other things about yourself. Through divorce and betrayal and things and heartbreak, I learned that I had some wounds that I needed to take a look at, and so on and so forth, which is how the writing started. And so, I was always just leaning into what life was pushing me to do. 28,000 Days was the first book that I wrote. And it was really about the urgency of living because, like I said, I've watched a man full of life be taken out of this plane at only 42 years old. And 28,000 days is the average lifespan of a human being, which is about 75 years. And so, I wrote that, and then fast forward from Clearance to Priceless, it's really, I call it a main character guide, and I spell character Kara.
I saw that. I saw that.
Right? So, it's really a guide to reclaiming your self-worth, because I found myself on the clearance rack in relationships, having an abandonment wound from the man I originally loved, leaving early. I didn't know I had an abandonment wound. I didn't even know I had a wound, right? Right. But life will have you go inward and say, okay, why am I creating these patterns? Why is, and if you ask the right questions, you'll find your answers. And so that's really what brought me to this point where this is becoming actually the work of my life, which is to speak on stages, get on podcasts like this, be a keynote for events, helping women see themselves in a positive light, because, we are all uniquely created and so beautifully created. And many times we allow what happened to us to determine the value we place on ourselves. And I'm like, no, it all happened for you, sis. It all happened for you. It was always character development. You're her. So let's lean into that energy and show up in the world, to do the thing that you're here to do, because again, you only have 28,000 days and then you're out of here.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, Kara, that is stupendous. That's awesome. No, that's a lot to unpack, but you know what? That's okay.
Hey, you asked me a question. I answered your question.
No, that's like one of the answers, like one-stop shop. That is stupendous, though. That is really good. But you're right, because when you pass that second test, it would have stopped a lot of women from saying, I got to drop out of law school. I can't do it. But you chose, to do the other way, and it worked. That's what women need to hear. Yes, no, that is, that's awesome. I like that. And we have a question that came in while you were speaking, and somebody said, how do you balance being a lawyer, CEO, author, coach, while staying aligned with your purpose? Sally from Minnesota.
Well, I will tell you, some people think that balance is like you always got everything under control, right? I don't, and I'm not gonna pretend that I do. Sometimes, like right now, I'm really putting a lot of energy into growing the coaching business. So there's, some things, it's just one person, right? So I'm doing it all. But what I am doing is I am answering all the calls on my life. I am not leaving because I'm practicing law, then I can't coach because this is who I am. No, I am a multifaceted being. I'm a mom. I'm also a sister. I am also a friend, and I'm also a lawyer, and I'm also a coach, and I'm also an author. And I know that these are all talents and gifts that have been buried inside of me. And one thing I'm not going to do is die with my music unplayed. So I'm playing all the various instruments that I'm skilled for along the way. And sometimes things have to take a little bit of a backseat so I could grow this. So sometimes, you know, the podcast, I may not be able to record as much because I'm traveling, like right now I'm traveling on a book tour. So there's a balance, and sometimes things cannot be always smooth sailing. And the reason why I really love, and thank you for asking this question, Sally, because I want women to know that you don't have to have it all together all the time. It's okay. And it's okay for you to dance with your various talents and dance with the various projects that you are working on and move them forward at their pace. And it's cool, right? And so there's no right way to do anything. It's your way. It's whatever works for you.
Wow. And we have another question. And this one said, how do you remind yourself your value is inherited and not negotiated? Call from Quebec, Canada.
Well, I realize that the things that I've had to overcome in my life, and the character that I am, and the resilience that I'm built with, and all of those things, I have a particular story. I have a particular way that I see life that nobody else has. And that's the same for you, Jose. You know, you have a lens through which you experience the world, that you communicate with people. You have a heart that is just different because of how you grew up and where you're from. Like you say, you're from Brooklyn and New York and all the things. You've got a flavor to you that nobody can beat you at being you. Same as me. I know my special sauce is mine and mine only. So that's also why there's no need to try to compete. I ain't competing with you because I'm in my lane, you're in your lane, and I want to honor you where you are, and I want to, and I honor myself where I am. And so when you say, how do I, how can I really be sitting in my worth? My worth is the fact that I'm the only me that exists. That's where my worth is drawn out of. And that's where I want women and men to draw their worth from, not from what you do, not from who, what you create out there, but who you are, and in your story, and in your the values that you that you operate from, and the people who helped you become your parents, who raised you. Like I grew up in Haiti. That's something that's special about me, right? Having gone through the experience that I went through, and living on the island, and then coming here and going to New York, and all the flavors that puts on me, right? That's how I know my worth. My worth is embedded in my life's trajectory, story, journey, and who I am at my core.
Cool, beans. Thank you for that question, Carl. And I have why do you think many women struggle to recognize their value and advocate for themselves? What you were saying. Why do you
because think? Many times we allow what happened to us in our lives to mean something that it doesn't mean. So, and listen, I'm guilty of that too. I had to rewrite the script. This is why I wrote this book, and I'm inviting women to rewrite the script, is to assign a new story to the things that happened. Let me take an example. I lost my dad. This was the man that I really, larger than life, loved, whatever. 14 years old, I lose him. So the story is now, at that age, I didn't realize I was doing that back then, is I'm broken good, right? Because now I'm halfway orphaned. I don't have somebody who can protect me against the world. I'm on my own. Survivor kicks in, that identity of I need to be strong. Like all this stuff got loaded onto what happened, right? And as life progressed, I made a lot of decisions from there. I was abandoned. So there's like, for me, an abandonment thing, and I don't want anybody to abandon me. So every relationship that I got into, I had to shrink because I didn't want to make too much of a footprint so that I didn't rock the boat, so that they wouldn't leave. And that's what was guiding my decisions. And that is what happens to us women. Somebody says something to you, a teacher says something to you early on, like you're stupid, and then you believe that shit, right? Excuse my French. Or a kid says something about, your hair or your look, and then you then agree with that, and then you're here moving through life with this misinformation defining you. My call is rewrite that. When I look at what my father's departure, what that did for me is it gave me an opportunity to develop hustle. It gave me an opportunity to become this woman. If I had him there supporting, providing, and all the things, I wouldn't be this girl. And I love this version of me. And I needed to be on my own early to develop this character. So it happened for me. Yeah, would I have wanted it differently back then? Yes. Today, no. This is my life. So many women have these stories that they're carrying that are causing them to dim and to feel lesser than, and to feel like they're not the her that I keep telling them that they are. Because it's just agreements that need to be broken. It's stories that need to be rewritten. There's what happened, and then there's the story. If you change the story, the what happened could become something that was good for you, instead of something that is a negative that you carry. And I'm like, listen, again, you're living here for 28,000 days. Might as well live out of a story that's supportive.
Yes.
Because you're gonna live and you're gonna die anyways. So why would you be the one clipping your own wings and kicking your own ass? Right? Rewrite the script so that it's supportive, so that you can, show up powerfully in life, enjoy your days. A lot of us, we think that there's something that's going to happen and that's going to make life worthy. Life is now. We're live. Yes. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is like, this moment is my life. Right. And so I want to be able to enjoy it, and I can't do that if I'm casting all of this, heavy nonsense over myself. So, it's a choice now at this point. And that's what I'm waking women up to. It's you're choosing this story. Choose another one.
God, that makes so much. It's like you got to take the shackles off your mind and just go. That makes perfect. Men need to hear this too. A lot of men, I'm serious. I mean, I'm one that, when you said things happen and then you're like stuck and say, what can I do with my life? No, F that. I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'm gonna do what I need to do. And is it scary at first? Absolutely. I ain't gonna lie to you. It is a little terrifying. Yeah. But we keep it going. We keep it moving. You're absolutely correct. Oh my goodness.
And it can get dark, and it's like,
it's heavy, it's dark, all the things, but guess what? Everyone is going through that same human experience. You're not alone. Many times we look, first of all, I think social media has us really thinking that life looks one way, like people are not going through it. People are going through it. Okay. You're only seeing the highlights of their lives online, and you're over here comparing your, moment of despair to that. Everyone's having those moments of despair. Everyone's having those moments of, feeling a certain type of way about themselves that they need to overcome. So you're not alone in that process. So know that, and it's worth going through that process and getting on the other side of it so that you can be free. And that process is not a one-time thing. It's, because as they say, at every level, there's another devil, right? You got to keep conquering yourself. You got to keep upping, right?
Hey, God, you're preaching. You are, I love your testimony.
I'm telling you, I'm taking you to church today. Let me stop.
No, I love it. I gotta okay, control yourself, Jose. Okay. we got another no, stupend. Woo, okay. Hey, well said. Sandra from New York City said, and Larry from Las Vegas says, don't dim your light. Self-awareness isn't about shrinking. It's about showing up with intention.
Yeah.
That is, and Yvette said, yes. Oh, no, you are so correct on that, you know. Wow. Thank you. We ain't got no more questions that come in. They'll come in. But, you know, Kara, you know, when your book that you build a successful legal career, you know, and when the inspiration for you being an attorney, was that where the book came out of too? Are they, you know?
Well, okay, no, because the book, so my inspiration for becoming an attorney, honestly, was I wanted to make my dad proud. And I was like, what's the best degree that I can get? It would have been, you know, being a lawyer was something that people would say to me all the time. You talk a lot, you could be a lawyer. I was like, okay, perfect. I'm going to do that. And so, but I have to tell you, it was not something that I was passionate about or anything like that. It was, you know, I was checking all the right boxes, right? So I did that. And in checking all the right boxes, I checked boxes that were not necessarily in alignment with who I am at my core, right? Got married, had kids, all the things, like, you know, I was building the life that on the outside looked great. But at some point I was living in that life and I'm like, whose life is this? Right? Because I'm like, I am not feeling this, right?
Right.
I was not in a relationship that was nurturing. I was, you know, carrying a lot of the weight of the house, the kids, the this and the that. I didn't feel like I was being watered in the relationship. And so I got to a point where I was like, you know, I'm 36 years old back then. And I'm thinking, you know, this can't be my life for the rest of my life. Right. I can't do this. And so that was when my divorce happened. And subsequent to my divorce, I ended up in another relationship. And then I saw it was very nice in the beginning. And then the same patterns started.
Right.
So that's when I was like, okay, Kara, you are the common denominator. This is, you know, there's something about you that you need to look at, because we are recreating the same thing. You know, it's a different face. It's a different fact pattern. It's the same through line though. You know, I'm feeling the same way. So I was like, oh, I'm the problem. It's me. Okay. So then that's how I had to get real with me.
Right.
And so that's how this last book came about. From Clearance to Priceless is about getting off the clearance rack and stop dimming, stop shrinking, stop putting yourself in situations that cannot hold you. And what happens is, you know, we often, to keep the peace, to not rock the boat, to, you know, not offend or whatever, we end up staying in places and environments that don't have the capacity to hold all of us. And I had to get to a point that, you know, I can't villainize the people as much as I need to realize that the people and the environment doesn't have the capacity to hold me. And I need to go put myself somewhere where I'm appreciated and where I'm valued and where people can receive all of me. And that was, it was something that broke so many things open for me and also freed me, because for a long time, you know, I made people wrong for not being who I wanted them to be. Meanwhile, I needed to realize that people are just who they are. And my job is to figure out what place they get to have in my life. And if I give a CEO position to an admin capacity person, I can't be mad that they can't perform at the CEO level. They have admin qualifications. And so the dynamics now changed, because it was no longer about who's going to give me what I need as much as it was I give me what I need. And then I figure out what environments are nurturing, and the ones that are not, I can, you know, bow out and excuse myself lovingly, no judgment, but this ain't for me. And so boundaries started to become something that I needed to, you know, implement and enforce. And
and just changing the conversations. I was able to now say no more than I used to say yes to a lot of things. I used to say yes because the people pleaser didn't want to ruffle feathers, right? And then now no became a full sentence, and I didn't have to explain. It's just no.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so the more I did that work, the more I realized that it also freed my energy to do more of the things that nurture me and please me. And I'm able to create more abundance in my life because my energy is freer. And so that's the call in the book for women to do as well, because again, we don't have all the time in the world. So while we're here, let's have a good experience.
Wow, Kara, you must have read my memo. Everything you say, you're right. The people pleaser, saying no, finding my true identity, all that. I mean, men go through the same thing too. And you fall into them patterns and relationships. And then you're like, then when you go back, there were red flags that I should have said something, but to keep the peace, you don't. And then
red flags, listen. They're from Red Flag Nation. If there's a country called Red Flag, that's where that's from. And then,
you are so right.
And then you're like, oh no, that's a light pink.
Right. Yeah, no, you absolutely. Oh my. Okay. Yeah, we ain't got time on this podcast to really. Oh my goodness.
If we go down this road,
girl, forget it.
Okay.
All I could say was like, yes, girl, preach, because that's me. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We got to call you. I was like, wait a minute. I got to relay back in. Okay, here we go. The second question. Once we finish this question, we're gonna get into how people can reach out to you and so on. So let me take this one question. And the question is for professionals who are bogged down by the traditional grind, how does one begin making the shift to a virtual, low overhead business model without sacrifice the quality of their work or client trust? This is Yvonne from Austin, Texas.
So, you got to know your business. You have to know what your services are. And, obviously, if you're a product-based business, it's very difficult to do things the way I do them. Although with Mary Kay, I mean, I did sell my stuff out of the trunk of my car. But you've got to know what your ultimate your client, what they ultimately need. In my case, my clients just needed good legal results, good legal services and results. And so when I look back, it's okay, what is the minimal structure that I need to deliver those results? And that's how creating a virtual law firm that was super low overhead was it was a natural thing for me, because it's like, they didn't even need to meet me at the office because we could meet on Zoom, or we could meet at Panera, or we could meet at a Starbucks. And because of that, I was able to really lower my legal fees because I didn't have the overhead of the $4,000 a month rent at an office in a skyscraper, right? So it was more of what does my client need and how can I deliver that professionally at a high level? Because if you go on my website or my Google reviews, they're all 5 stars, and if you hear what the clients say is the same thing. She's super accessible. She's passionate about what she's doing. She takes care of me as like my family. So I knew that that's what my client needed to experience from me. So how can I deliver those services to my clients and keep myself, as low overhead as possible? And that's how I came up with my structure, which is, having the virtual document system, cloud-based everything, voice over IP phone, and so whichever business you're in, you have to know what is the bare minimum that I need to function. And then if you decide to, spruce it up and add some more things, that's up to you. But what is the bare minimum to get me started? Because many of us, it's like, oh, I need the office. Do you? I need a receptionist. Do you? Right? I need the water cooler. Do you? Right? Do I need all these things? I had somebody answering my phones, which was also a virtual receptionist. I didn't need somebody at an office answering my phones. Some lawyers really believe that you need to hang your shingle because that's what they say. You know, you're going to go hang your, do you really need to hang a shingle to deliver legal services? No. You know, if you're a realtor or if you are delivering consulting services, do you really need all that? Ask yourself. And again, many of those overhead pieces, it's ego. It's like, I need people to come see me with the mahogany desk, or you know, and it's like, what are you feeding? Is it the ego, or is it a need of the client?
That's the ego, right? That pride. Okay.
And so the thing is, my ego died, so I only make sensible decisions. I don't make decisions out of that.
All right. Well, Kara, we're gonna go into how people can reach you and all you have to offer. So I will leave it to you.
Yeah, so that's my website, karavaval.com. You've had it going down there as in the banner. So all things Kara are there. So including I have this main character activation that I do on a monthly basis. So if you want to get into my world and, you know, work with me, I have cohorts that are ongoing. That's where you go. So that's my website, karavaval.com. So when I talk about break from the cycle, it's from the how I'm supposed to do it, right? That's the cycle that I'm helping people break out of, because the societal how you're supposed to do it is not necessarily the best way for you. So you need to know yourself. You need to know thyself, I say, right? And know that you can create a different structure for yourself that works for you so that you're able to confidently create a life that satisfies you, that is nurturing, that is fulfilling, and that is lucrative.
Okay.
Yeah. So Legal Career Accelerator, it's the laptop lifestyle lawyer. It's really everything having to do with, you know, if you are a lawyer listening and you're looking to create a different, lighter structure where you get your time and money freedom, that's where you find me, and you can book a call as it says there, and we can rock and roll together. Yeah, my testimonial. These are my peoples that I've done some work with. And so, yeah, you know, as you said earlier, the proof is in the pudding, right? It's always when it's you want to know that other people have something good to say about the person that you're about to, you know, connect with. And I keep the testimonials getting updated all the time because I get them.
Yes.
You know, I went ahead and did a talk this weekend, and some of the feedback I got, I'm like, this is incredible that I get to do what I do, enjoy it so much and have this kind of impact, right, with my work. And so what a blessing.
It is.
Yeah, so Rich Dad, that Robert Kiyosaki is a very dear friend, and he's Rich Dad Poor Dad. His book was very instrumental in my growth, and so these are some of the places I've been featured. This definitely needs to be updated on my website because I've been on so many TV shows lately. I've been on Good Morning Texas. I'm about to actually be on News 12 Long Island next week. Yeah, it's cool.
That's stupendous. So you gotta send this. I need to see that.
Yeah, I will definitely send.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. You know, we have different platforms I've been able to. I've been so blessed. You know, this thing's taking a life of its own, and so it's amazing. Awesome. And so, yeah, this is also on my website where if you want to you know, get some, I have videos. I have a lot of resources that are free resources. So it's just a matter of just going in and firing. And, you know, I one of the resources, this one, the 3 ways your mindset was formed, is a video I recorded because, again, you know, how you operate in life is based on your mindset. And, you know, if the mindset is not fine-tuned, it might be giving you results you don't want. And some of the things we inherited are things that, you know, our parents passed on, and that was from a different time, and it's not necessarily supportive in this time. So this is a great little video that I explain that and gets you the awareness, because once you're aware, you know, once you see it, you can't unsee it, and then it gives you power to change it.
Cool beans.
Yeah, so 28,000 days. Yep, that's my first book. I can't even believe it, but this year is 10 years since I published this book.
Oh my goodness.
It's a decade old, and I'm thinking I want to do a 10-year anniversary and probably add a couple more chapters or something in it. I have to talk to my publishing company with that. But yes, this was my first book, and as it says, make your 28,000 days count, because listen, my friend, if you look at however old you are, that'll tell you how many days are behind you.
Wow.
And whatever days you got left, make them count.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Oh my goodness.
And yeah, this is the new baby.
Yes.
From Clearance to Priceless, a main character guide to reclaiming your worth. Yes. And so this is available on Amazon. It's available on my website as well, karavaval.com. If you go on there, you can actually get a free copy sent to you from me, signed, if you go on my website. But those are all places that you can find the book. It's available on Barnes and Nobles. It's available everywhere. But I think this will lead them to Amazon. So yeah.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the QR code will take you to Amazon, but like Kara said, on the website too. So make sure. And as you see, her website's on the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. So please visit it. It's awesome. I checked that out. It was really cool beans. So yeah.
Thank you. And the Unfiltered with Kara podcast. And we're everywhere. We're on wherever you consume your podcast. You'll find us. We're on iTunes and Spotify and all the things. And yeah, that's just where I talk my talk, right?
Cool.
My podcast is where I have amazing guests that I bring on, and we just have candid conversations like this one. So I'm very raw. That's why I put it unfiltered. You probably could feel the New Yorker,
Yeah.
that spews.
Yes, I can. I do.
You'll get a real dose of that on Unfiltered.
Okay. Definitely. No, that is cool. Yeah, I listened to a little bit of it. I was like, okay, I can hear it. I can hear it.
Yeah, we keep it real. We keep it real.
Yeah. Let me see. And I think for speaker.
Yes. And so there is also on the website, there is a speaker page where if you want me to speak at your next event, I do speaking engagements on a regular basis, both virtual and live. So that's where you can go and just fill out the form and someone will get back to you. And I speak on everything from stepping into your main character season to goal setting and crushing your goals, supercharging your confidence, self-love, self-trust, knowing your worth, all the things.
Cool beans. Hey.
And yes, this is the YouTube, so you can scan that, and those are where we have our long form videos. And then of course, Vaval Law. If you're injured or someone 833 Vaval Law. I still do that. I still love it. And yeah, and that's awesome. Why I love that your listener asked me that question of how do you balance is, I'm still a very good lawyer. I know that about me. And I'm not going to stop that because I'm also a very good coach or because I'm good. It's like you can be a lot of things and you don't have to pick one thing in this lifetime. I say God, one thing that God gave us is more talent and ability that we'll ever be able to use in this lifetime. And our gift back to God as a form of worship is to use as many of those gifts and abilities as we possibly can in this lifetime.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's on Facebook. I'm Kara Vaval, ESQ. And Facebook, Instagram, all the places. You just use my name at Kara Vaval ESQ and you'll find me.
Same thing with
Instagram. Yep.
Yes.
And I continue to pump videos there and content and all the things.
Cool beans. No, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, please follow and so we can support as always. And while you were talking, we had another question that came in. And it said, if you could tell your younger self one thing about worth, what would that be? Jennifer from Maryland.
I would tell her, baby, you were born worthy. You were born worthy. You are, if God took the time, let's take a moment, okay? The same force that makes the sun rise in the morning and makes it set, that makes your breath come in and out of your body, that makes plants grow, that has birds out there chirping and all, fish in the ocean, created the ocean. If that being took the time to create you, you are born worthy, because you are exactly what he wanted to experience.
Wow.
That's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. Wow. Liz said, amazing. Thank you for your positive energy. I needed this. You needed that.
I'm so glad.
Yes.
Thank you for having, what a gift. This is, you know, I what I love is that I get to spend my 28,000 days with beings like you doing this stuff that we love to do. What a gift. And again, it's the call to everyone is find something that brings you this much joy and fulfillment and live that, because you are on borrowed time.
Yes, you have. You bring it to, you know, reality when you started talking about the 28. I never put it in that context. It's like, you're right. That makes perfect sense. Yes, take that risk, take that chance, do it. I mean,
why not? Why not?
This
is your life. This is your playground.
Yes,
you know, get back to your childlike, you know, energy and curiosity, where when you went on the playground, you tried everything. You went on the swings, you did the monkey bars, you did the slides, you did all the things. Why stop now? Because what, you're an adult? You know, this is still your playground, this life.
Absolutely. And you know what? I want to ask, Kara, you know, what's one word that describes this season of life that you're in right now? If there was
surrender.
Surrender. What does that look like? What does that look
surrender is, I am just watching God use me, and I'm watching how he is pulling all the things together. And it's so phenomenal to watch, because, you know, for a long time, I thought I was in control and I was just trying to push things and move things and whatever. And now that I've relaxed and allowed, he just gets it so much better. And there's a lot less stress, and it's a lot less anxiety, and it's a lot less attachment to outcomes. It's whatever is meant to happen will happen. The people that are meant to come in just naturally come in. Like, you naturally came into my life. I didn't go looking for you, and look at us having this dance together.
This stupendous,
you know, neither one of us looked for each other, but then here we are, right? And it's the symbiotic flow, that when you allow life to do what life does naturally, trusting that the same, again, being that makes the sun rise in the morning and makes it set and does it every time with perfect precision, is also running your life, you can relax. And then you realize that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you're exactly where you're not supposed to be. And nothing could have gone any other way. And had it gone any other way, you wouldn't be here. And then you surrender and relax into the fact that there is an intelligence that that knows it all, that is in control, and you're in good hands.
Kara, that makes perfect sense. When I got saved, one of the hardest things is to be still and let God work. And it was it's still hard for me sometimes to be still when things happen, and I just want to get in there, try to fix it myself. And I'm learning that I just got to be still and let him do the work. And it's not easy. Talk about the Bible. Somebody put a quote. Somebody says, the Bible says 1 Peter 4, chapter 4, verse 10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in various forms. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. And we are all branches of the same tree. So what you do in your world inevitably will affect me, and so on and so forth. So, you know, it's just give of yourself freely and know that, again, it's like, oh, it's a flow. It's a flow of energy coming in and out, and trust it. And when you trust it, somehow, some way, it never disappoints.
Yes, yes. And before we close out, is there anything like what's coming up for Kara in the future, or things you may be working on, and any last words you want to say to our audience?
I mean, right now, like I said, I'm just open to this new season in whatever shape it takes. I'm here for it. I don't have any solid plans. I know that I want to have impact. I know that I am the one for the job. So between those two things, I am watching to see how it all comes together, both as an actor in the movie and as a witness watching the movie. I also know that, you know, we are all main characters in the storyline, the movie of our lives. And one thing's for sure is that I want more women to take that lead role and stop being supporting actors in their own movies.
Cool beans. Yvette said, thank you, Kara. This was stupendous.
Thank you. It was stupendous. So much fun. Thank you.
It was
so
fun.
much
No,
for
I want to say,
this
look,
was great.
Your message, it resonates with me as a man, and it makes perfect sense, you know. And I would tell you that it's, you know, it just gets things moving. Like, well, I never looked at it that person. So I want to say, gracias. Thank you for being here on the show. And I know a lot of people are going to resonate with what you have to offer. And I'll be checking it out too. And I appreciate your time that you've given us, because time, I know it, 28,000 days. So I'm glad that you gave that here. And it's going to make a difference.
It was my pleasure.
For me, it did. I just want to say gracias for that. So before I let you go, I want to make sure there's no other questions. So make sure everything looks good. And let me talk about my next upcoming guest real quick, Kara. And ladies and gentlemen, next on the 4 days for next 4th of July, we're going to have Miss Cindy C. Jordan on the show. And she's going to be talking about, you know, safety, IT. It's going to be really, really good. So please tune in. I'll put this up, and I know her big thing is safety advocacy. So please tune in next week. So, but again, it's stupendous. I'm gonna have to get on the Peloton this afternoon again, because I need to check this thing out. You know, pero
steam out.
like, yeah, woo, yeah. Pero gracias por todo, and have a great weekend. And I appreciate you very much. And when you got something coming up in the future, please let us know so we can help promote it, ma'am.
I appreciate so much. And thank you so much for having me, Jose.
Gracias. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.